Recently, I sat down with the guys from the Hashknife Ranch, and we discussed a wide variety of things about ranching, homesteading, and just the rural way of life. I'll have all the links in the description below. Go over and check them out. We had a really fun time, and now let's get into the conversation.
I want to ask Brandon, just personal note, what got you guys into gated horses?
That's kind of funny. When this country was settled, we had some people to come out after the Civil War and had gated horses then. They weren't an established breed at the time. And as you well know from that Tennessee, Kentucky area, a lot of gated horses in that middle Ohio Valley way back when, even during colonial times. And we've had them on one side of my family, my mother's side of the family especially, had gated horses. And then my dad's side of the family had a lot of saddlebred, standardbred, that were gated or not gated. Some, just depended. But we have had them in one form or another for years and years, and then kind of decided to get into it because there was a need for it. And my mom and dad kind of said, you know what, we can do this. And of course, I've been training horses since I was very small, and just a natural fit. And of course, the boys are in on it. But we had some guys that had some pretty deep pockets that decided to get into it as well, and told us they were going to put us out of business. But as things turn out, they had to sell all their horses, and we're still chugging along. So it's about the product that you produce, not necessarily the horse you have. You know how that is.
Yeah. I when I moved back to Tennessee, we didn't have any clients for horse training because I was a cowboy. I come from Arizona, moved to Tennessee. Nobody wanted to bring their walking horses to me, and this one old man, he showed horses. He brought me a 2-year-old, and he said, "Here, I want to see what you can do." And I basically told him, I said, "Look, what you're wanting out of a horse is you want to be able to collect that horse up and get that horse balanced." I said, "I don't care if it's a cutter or a reiner or a walking horse. It's all about balance."
All about balance.
And getting that horse not only physically balanced but mentally balanced, where they can take stress. And back there, it's really hard to find good balanced horses mentally, physically, emotionally. And that's something that I brought to it. And that was kind of my niche. So I started training, the walking horses, and I'd been around them as a kid when I was little, when we lived back there. But when I got into the mechanics of it and what people were wanting, we did pretty good. We got to travel all over the country, and got to represent Tweeba a couple of times at a couple of different big expos, and it was fun. And I'd love to get some down here. I know there's some further south down around Scottsdale and stuff like that, but I'd like to get a few. I've got a 2-year-old Tennessee walking horse right now that we're starting, and he's pretty nice. He's kind of hot, but he's got a really good gait.
Well, and he should settle in too. You know how that is. The more you work with them, the better they can get. And my mom's dad, my grandpa, was very, very, very good, very in tune, and of course gated horses. And so, I learned a lot from them. And he was just an old cowboy, really, that worked for other people most of the time. And but what you can pick up from him, what he could do with a horse and make him walk, even a non-gated horse. He could press a walk out of a horse that was unbelievable. And you know what? The horse was balanced, and his mind was balanced. You're saying things that are exactly right, that if you are out of balance, you're not going to be able to perform. And he could make these horses perform and gentle a horse that was most people couldn't handle. I learned a lot, that way. And of course, when all of a sudden you've got something that somebody wants, then that need is already created for you. You're not looking for the need, and that's what really helped to make a business and continue to make that business and never hurry anything. You know how that goes. You hurry it, you start destroying it.
Yeah. And just that taking and giving that horse enough time to rest. Our biggest problem back there was everybody just wanted to gate,
push.
And I would tell them, I said, those even the 3 and 4 year olds, I said, you need to just be letting them be a horse. Don't put them under any stress. Don't just let them go down the trail. And they would push that so much, and the horse just wasn't even physically able to sustain a gait for very long because they just didn't have the muscle mass for it.
Right.
And it just made these horses so tense and so wired up that all they were looking forward to was the end of the ride instead of just enjoying the process. And we would work cows on them. I had some really good cowie walking horses, and I would work horses, work cattle on them, rope off of them, do whatever. And man, they just had the best minds. You could just stop and they would just stand there, you know, as long as you wanted to stand there. They weren't antsy and spinning in circles. And
right. Well, and people don't understand that this country, this particular part of the country during the Homestead Act was settled with gaited horses. Teddy Roosevelt came into this country in the grasslands of North Dakota, and like he said, he perverted what they called a single footer, and that most of the old guys will talk about single footers, and they're really, you can single foot on a, you know, it is a gait, as you know, but a lot of those were gaited horses that come into here, and then they started changing the horse a little bit for, you know, a little bit heavier muscling and putting some of that draft influence in with those thoroughbreds and Morgans and crossing them back out, and you get what you get. And you know, there's some good horses out there, even non-gated and gated both, and just because it's one way or another doesn't mean it's wrong.
Yeah,
it's hard to get people to understand that.
Yeah, if you're in Tennessee and you buy a grade horse, it's going to gate. That's just the way it is. I don't. If it's grade, you can guarantee it's going to gate one way or another. That's all they have back there. I mean,
yeah.
You're even sketchy about some of the registered quarter horses. You're like, I don't know about this. You know, I think something jumped the fence here.
Yeah, that's right.
That's just the country that you're in. You know. So.
That's awesome.
Well, guys, it's been awesome.
Be looking for more from this interview on future episodes. And remember, be not weary in well doing, for in due season ye shall reap, if you faint not. We'll see you later.